Well, last podcast, we talked about something we had never talked before about potties, bathrooms.
You just haven't been doing these podcasts long enough, Jess.
I clearly haven't.
We've
And,
had potty podcasts and potty language podcasts for years and years and years. You need to be included in this, and so
no, I don't. I don't. I don't need to be included in this. I don't know what you've been talking about, but today we can't avoid it.
I know
It's all potty talk today, specifically bathrooms, restrooms. Sometimes I wonder why I agreed to do this with you, but hey, we're here, and we are going to be talking about unforced errors in the church, and this is our final one. And of course, you had to leave this one for the final one.
Sure,
of our unforced error series.
Yeah, it is. It is our Pinnacle P podcast.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
If you're listening, I would appreciate your prayers for us as we finish this
Pinnacle
podcast.
P podcast with prayers. Yes.
Well, before we jump into this one today, we want to take a moment, and I may just take the rest of the podcast to thank Cheney and Associates, and maybe if we have a few minutes at the end, we'll talk about restrooms. We are going to be talking about restrooms. We're going to talk about guests and the impact restrooms can have on them. I don't know. We'll talk about, can you have a positive impact? Is there a negative impact? We'll talk about the impact. Your church restrooms. Yes. We'll talk about it on this podcast and how you can continue to make sure you are reaching your community. Also, but when they come in your building, how you can be continuing to retain them. And restrooms are a major part of that. So before we jump in, we do want to thank Cheney and Associates. If you're not familiar with them, maybe this is one of your first times listening to the Church Answers podcast. By the way, if that is, we're so glad you're here.
Welcome.
Cheney Associates is an accounting firm, but not just any accounting firm. They are an accounting firm designed and focused on specifically the local church. And so if you are a church leader that you have some accounting needs, some bookkeeping needs for your church, any size, any budget, give Cheney Associates a call or go to their website, cheneyassociates.com/church answers. They want you to lead your church. And so what they're going to do is they're going to handle the numbers. They're church accountants. They understand the church. They understand your language. They're going to help you, give you the information you need so you can make ministry decisions with confidence. So go check them out. Also, they got a brand new podcast that's out. It's called the Church Advisory Podcast. Steve Cheney, Tim Wilkins are a part of that podcast, and they're doing some fun conversations as well. I don't know if they're talking about restrooms yet. I don't know if they're there yet, but they are talking about church advisory issues in terms of administration and finance and accounting and bookkeeping.
It's good stuff. I've listened in a few times. It's good stuff.
Yeah, so go check it out. We're super thankful for them, for Cheney and Associates. But we're going to talk about bathrooms now in your church.
And I'm going to start off with what not to do.
All right. Why don't you just kick us off? I gotta admit, I'm kind of nervous about this one, but let's see.
Oh, good gravy train. There's no reason to be nervous. Well, we don't call them bathrooms because they don't have
restrooms.
Baths.
Correct.
We want to be correct in that. There will be a few grammatical persons out there that won't say, you don't really have people bathing here, do you? No, it's a restroom.
Are people really resting? I mean,
yes. The pressure is off, and so they are definitely resting.
Oh, I'm done.
And here's what you need to know, and church leaders, hear this clearly. Your restroom is going to communicate how much you value your guest. And I will simply say this, call me sexist, whatever, but it is more important to the female gender than it is to the male gender. And there are reasons for that. I'm not going to cross the line, but there are reasons for that. And we have heard on many, many occasions when we look at these first-time guest experiences where someone said, I would not go back to that church. There's a place to do it. Why? The restroom was filthy. I mean, it runs people out. I mean, think when you're on the road, particularly on the interstate, what's the new sensation stopping place?
Oh, gotta love Buc-ee's.
Buc-ee's.
Yep.
Now think about Buc-ee's.
That's true.
Where do they put the restroom? In the middle. They know everybody is going to go there. And so they want you to see at least half of the store. And
Hmm.
hopefully you'll exit the other way and see the other half. But they understand the importance of restrooms, not only in quality and cleanliness, but in quantity as well.
That's right.
I have never seen so many urinals on the wall
Yeah.
in my entire life.
It's a major marketing for them. Because you think about it. I know when I'm with my family and I'm traveling, we judge our stop based off which place we think has the best restroom.
Okay, and then how important would it be for the church? Again,
That's right.
it's
You got a
it's not
point.
it's not like making a trip, but there are similarities in their principles that are just the same. And I think we understate it, and when we understate it, we don't do enough to make it guest friendly and improve it.
Yeah. I guess for this one, if I'm thinking about it, there's going to be an expectation of a guest that you have a nice bathroom.
Mhm.
And so is there potential ways you can gain with your restrooms? I mean, there's a few ideas that out there, but in large part, this is a standard you have to meet because if you don't meet it, it has a negative impact. Um,
Well, there was a season, Jess, when our church, your church, was putting some small posters in the restrooms,
mhm.
and I heard people comment on them as a positive experience.
Yeah, yeah. I think we can talk about that here in a little bit as part of the guest experience. We'll get to that and what you can do. The main thing though is restroom. Starting off here, foundationally, restroom quality communicates how much a church values its guests and its members. It does. I mean, you got to think about it. If you're having someone over to your house, typically, if you have I know we have a half bath downstairs. My wife always says, "Will you please go?" She always asks me, "Will you please go clean the bathroom, the half bath, before a
Hmm.
guest get here?" It takes 5+ minutes
Hmm.
just to get it. I mean, because that's the one we do keep up with. It's because of the expectation. We want our guests, if they have to use the restroom, they want to have a clean restroom to use. The same should be for your church. Um, I know for us, being a young church, we for many years we cleaned our own restrooms as volunteers. In fact, the cleaning team was my wife. Welcome to the life of a church planner.
Exactly.
She cleaned the bathrooms for so many years, but eventually we found an affordable a cleaning service, a cleaning team, and they focus mainly on vacuuming and bathrooms. We didn't do a lot, but it was enough to say, all right, we're going to make a small investment in our facilities to get it professionally cleaned. They come in on Saturday, right before church on Sunday, and they professionally clean our bathrooms.
I can
Um,
tell it. I can
yeah,
tell. And I found out about it before I knew that was happening. I just walked in and said, "Man, Rachel worked extra hard this time."
she did a great job. It was just that little extra touch. They got all the extra equipment and things to make it look nice, and they vacuum and sweep all of our floors. They're focused on, again, this was the guest. The reason we did it is for the guest in our church. Is we wanted those main things, like we wanted the floors to be clean. We didn't want stuff. We wanted to make sure the bathrooms are clean. Because here's the reality, and this is our second point. Many visitors make subtle judgments about cleanliness and care based on restroom conditions.
And
It is.
a subtle judgment may not even be at the forefront of your guest's mind.
Right.
It may be something that when they start thinking about something else, they don't have a good impression, or they have a good impression, and it's related to something as benign and really silly as a restroom and its
Mhm.
cleanliness. Maybe it's
Right.
not benign, but
Right.
it is important.
Let me ask this: Does age of a restroom matter? Like you can say we can talk about cleanliness, but I'm saying if it's a what is a very dated restroom? Clean, but dated. Is that potentially a negative impact?
I will just get crass and say it depends on the functionality of that which is older.
Okay.
And so if you have something that let me give you a very common example. Toilets used to be a lot smaller
Right. Right.
than
Yeah.
they're making right now. If someone goes into the restroom and sits down and they can only get into a half cheek position, then they probably don't
Yeah.
like the experience. And that's related to not necessarily lack of cleanliness, but it's just not been updated. I would be updating my restrooms on a regular basis, maybe not annual, but on a regular basis to make sure it reflects the best.
Yeah. Even just fresh coat of paint can go a long way in a restroom. There are little things you can do. It's so it's not just cleanliness. It's also appearance.
Mm-hmm.
And I get you could say those are one and the same, but you could have a super clean restroom that looks very dated,
Mm-hmm.
from a cleanliness standpoint. And so it's like, what are small things you can do to begin to even update your restrooms, just to
Exactly.
get that little bit extra of that guest impact. Here's one, not even talking about updating. Unclean or poorly stocked restrooms can leave a negative impression that lingers beyond the visit.
Nelly Joe.
I'm not stepping in that one.
Nelly Joe.
I don't know what you mean.
Nelly Joe does a restroom check before she goes into the restroom.
Are you talking about at our church?
No,
Or
wherever
anywhere?
she is other than her home. And she's checking for cleanliness, but she's mostly checking for supplies, toilet tissue, and paper to dry your hands. And so we have actually stopped at a rest area on the interstate, and she went in and she said, "No, we need to go somewhere else."
Okay.
And so we went somewhere else. I had to go very badly. I pleaded with her to allow me to go because I was not that picky. She said, "No, we're married. We go and suffer in the same path."
It's the small things. It's a small thing, but a big thing. Soap. I mean, if you have a Sunday and you don't have soap to wash your hands in the bathroom, that is a very negative impression. So
Exactly.
I know it's a simple thing. I don't know if you're at your church, you have a facilities team. We have someone every Sunday that our cleaning crew that comes in is supposed to stock everything. Sometimes things happen. Sometimes, and it's actually happened this past Sunday. Here's a perfect example. I'm usually one of the first people in the building, and went to go wash my hands. Used the soap. We have those automatic soap dispensers.
Mm-hmm.
Used the last soap. Like I was the first person in the building, and according to the cleaning company, it was stocked but then when I used it, it went out. I was the last one. And so we actually, and this is a good thing for you, as a bad thing for me. We were out of supplies. So we have those automatic soap dispensers with the refills. For some reason, the order had not come in yet, and we're out. Thankfully, we have a backup to the backup. We keep the traditional little hand pump soap dispensers available in our, so you gotta we have a whole process. Someone checks it. We're supposed to have supplies. We have backup to the supplies for bathroom stuff. Like it's at the bare minimum, you should go in, and if the soap's out, if you don't have any soap, you got to run the store and get some before church starts.
And fortunately, we're close to that too.
Yeah.
And so I do remember early on in the days where you actually asked me to go get something. And
I don't remember this.
I think I went to Kroger, if I recall correctly. I was trying to remember what I got, but you asked me to go get some. So I did. I was the backup to the backup to the backup.
But the point is, you got to have someone that's thinking about it. So if you have someone on your team that does, I don't know, call them the Sunday morning walkthrough team, where they're going to your bathrooms, and obviously, you be careful, men and women's bathrooms, if who's doing it, make sure they get there early enough. Typically, maybe you have a male and a female who are doing it in each of the bathrooms, however you can figure it out. But have them do a walkthrough. Very simple. Just do a walkthrough on Sunday morning and see if there's anything out. And the worst case scenario is you have to use this. Maybe you have an automatic paper towel thing. You got a paper towel. Just put some extra paper towels in there.
Exactly.
It's just having poorly stocked restrooms can leave a major negative impact. Your calling is to have a positive impact.
Yep.
On the community.
Yep.
You want those guests coming in, and particularly those guests that you have spent time reaching. This is a good reason why we partner with Upward Sports.
Good segue.
They are one of our partners, one of our sponsors for this podcast, and they are all about helping you reach those guests who are going to be coming in and using your restrooms. And so if you're trying to figure out a new way, maybe coming up this fall, you want to figure out a new way to reach your community, jump in on the wave that is pickleball.
Pickleball.
They
It's
are
pickleball.
right now. Upward Sports is having a pretty cool offer right now.
It
If you
is a
sign up,
good offer.
yeah, if you sign up with them and create your own league to reach the community, they're giving away 2 free pickleball net sets.
So you do pickleball and get free net sets.
Pickleball, 2 free pickleball net
net
sets. But here's the deal. They only have a limited number. Only 200 sets are available. So go ahead. If you're listening to this podcast, go to upward.org/pickleball. Go to upward.org/church answers. Get in contact with them. Begin the conversation. They just made it even easier for you to reach your community by providing you resources through a sport that people love. And so you can go use your parking lot. Use your facilities. Reach the community this way.
Yes, totally, completely.
So we're super thankful for Upward. We're thankful for them. We're thankful for having clean bathrooms. Just
your mother
the topic. Well, so far we've talked about, and again, I said bathrooms. I don't. Is that a Southern thing?
It is.
Okay.
It's like, are we ready to have supper yet?
Bathrooms. Yeah. I don't know. Restrooms. So restrooms, the quality communicate to a church guest how much you value it. Visitors make subtle judgments. Unclean or poorly stocked restrooms can leave a negative impression. And then here, the fourth thing: a clean, well-lit, fully stocked restroom is a simple but powerful expression of excellence. I don't think I've ever heard that sentence in my entire life. A clean, well-lit, fully stocked restroom is a simple but powerful expression of excellence.
Jess, I'm trying to think. I should know this. It's a very common stop on interstates. It's not Buc-ee's, but it's the Love's. You knew exactly where I was going. So I stopped on Love's. I think I was in Tennessee, headed back home to Franklin, and it's a new area. And I went in and I said, "How long's this Love's been here?" She said, "Oh, we just had grand opening a couple of weeks ago. It's brand new." So just out of curiosity, I walked around. Guess what they made bigger? The restrooms.
Okay.
They have nice big restrooms, but this was even bigger. Okay. It was like the Buc-ee shadow had begun to cast over them, and they said, "We have got to make our footprint bigger in the restrooms."
Buc-ee's changing the standard for restrooms.
Exactly. And they have this particular Love's had 2 24/7 restaurants, one on each of the anchors. And one of them was a typical fast food, I think a McDonald's. One of them was more of a middle type of meal, sit-down meal. But you could tell that they are now looking closely at the guest experience. And in this case, competition has moved them to the next level, I suspect. Yeah. But it just shows how important it is.
Yeah. It's that atmosphere. Totally, but it's that one piece that can have a very negative impact. But I do like the idea of a clean, well-lit, fully stocked restroom. I'll say this too: if you can, add some kind of air quality control to it. Mm-hmm. There's so many different options out there for just air fresheners in the bathrooms. Mm-hmm. Just for men and women's, it's a small thing. It's smell has a very positive impact. A good
or
smell.
Negative.
It can have a negative smell, a negative impact. In fact, there are businesses out there, there are companies out there that part of their guest experience includes smells. They're very intentional. Think about hotels. Mm-hmm. There's usually a very subtle but distinct smell to their lobbies mm-hmm. and into their restrooms.
And right into the restrooms.
So this is a small thing you can do.
You know what I remember one time with you? We were retrofitting the industrial building, which would become our church. And I think at the time was the head facility person was working on the restroom. And he said, we can save some money if we don't put dividers at the urinals. Mm-hmm. And you said, we're going to have dividers at the urinals. But man, right. We could save some time and money. We're going to have dividers at the urinals. Uh-huh. Now, you talk about guest friendly. I would not go and be shoulder to shoulder with someone without a divider. Input between little things, but it made a difference.
It's the little things. All right. So here's the final thing I want to look at. It's all right. Restroom. It's kind of all right at this point. All right. You've said be clean, have a good experience, make sure it's up to date, make sure it's not, low standard. Is there, and then we kind of mentioned this at the top of the podcast. Is there things you can do? The way I described it was there's a standard that you have to have in your church. And if you're below that, it's going to hurt it. And that's usually the norm. Is there anything extra you can do in your restrooms to make a kind of a wow factor? Is there something you can do? Because I mean, just like restaurants and retailers, churches see restrooms as part of the guest experience. Is there something you can do to add a wow factor to the guest experience?
I mentioned it earlier.
Okay.
You can have some type of information in there.
Okay.
Just laminated or either in a folder that sticks to the wall. Just some information in there, appropriate, interesting, informative. You actually used to put your sermon titles in there. The sermon series.
Well, yeah, we had some posters in there, and it was past sermon series, and we took that out for the time being. We're going to replace it for some other things.
But that made an impression on me as someone who has consulted with hundreds, if not thousands, of churches.
Okay.
I saw these things on the wall. Well, this is different. Now, here's the thing about it. Restrooms are one of the easiest things to do, just like signs.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not working on keeping your restrooms at the top, then you have an unforced error. Okay, what do I need more than anything, Tom? You need someone who is accountable, who is the go-to person for restrooms. That may sound silly, but if you don't have someone who is saying, I'm looking after the restrooms, if no one is looking after the restroom in particular, that means it is not going to get done the way it should be.
Yeah. Yeah. That is, you got to have someone that's really focused on it. Think about just other little things you could do to add to the guest experience. This past Mother's Day, our connections team, which is our team who's responsible for connecting people in the church, put cards in the bathroom. And there's a sign. It was where all the sinks were. They put a sign and said, "Hey, forgot it's Mother's Day. We got you covered." Something. Here's a Mother's Day card. And so they had a basket of Mother's Day cards in the men's restroom. So for all the guys that forgot.
Oh, honey, that is so pretty. Where did you get it? Next to the toilet.
Hey, we didn't say where you had to come from. And so we put those in there. People loved it. And I think we had about 15 cards that were used.
And here's the point. Someone knew that the church was thinking about it.
Yeah.
It's a positive focus. It may not be something that is just off the charts great discovery, but it's just a reminder. Hey, this church really thinks about these little things. And as we know in marriage and in other relational situations, cliche, but it's the little things that matter.
Yeah. So think about it. In a way, what makes a positive impact on a guest, and putting Mother's Day cards in the men's restroom on Mother's Day was a small way that we felt like we could, one, help the guys out in our church, but two, also guest experience. We knew we'd have a lot of guests on Mother's Day, and so that for all those guys who use the restroom, I guess you could have done it in the ladies' restroom as well. We just chose to do it in the guys.
They're the ones who are going to be the most forgetful about these things.
Yeah. My guess it probably had a positive experience on those guests. I don't think it hurt at the bare minimum. So it's little things. Get creative with it.
Exactly.
Well, we made it. I made it through the Restroom podcast here at Church Answers. Again, of all the times that we talk about, providing practical solutions, this may be one of the most practical solutions we talked about here.
The Practical PP Perfect Podcast. That's what we are.
Oh, let's wrap this one up. And we're going to do it by thanking Cheney and Associates one more time. We're so thankful for the work they're doing, that they're helping local churches with the accounting and bookkeeping and finance needs. So if you just want to maybe just say, hey, could I potentially have someone outside my church provide real-time, accurate information?
You don't know how good it is until you get it.
You got to try them. You just don't know until you go. Check out CheneyAssociates.com/church answers. Set up a call. Take 30 minutes and just get on a call with them and just see what they can do. Doesn't matter your church size, church budget. They help all churches. Maybe you have a bookkeeper that's retiring. Go see if this is the right time, right opportunity.
Or maybe you just have a really lousy bookkeeper and you need to get things better. So Jess is just always so nice and precise. Maybe your bookkeeper's retiring. Maybe your bookkeeper stinks and you just need to get someone in that position.
Maybe. If you have a need, go check them out. CheneyAssociates.com. youtube.com/church answers. Well, thank you. If you made it all the way to end of this one, we applaud you.
Mm-hmm.
We congratulate you that you made it through this final episode.
You're in one of the best.
I think we just need to call it.
There we go.
Thanks for being here. We appreciate you guys. We love that you guys jump in. If you're with us on YouTube, you're on your podcast listening app, whatever it is, we're super thankful that you're here. Maybe this is one you want to share. Who knows? Give us a like, give us a share. We always appreciate it. If not, definitely go share one of the other ones. We'll look forward to seeing you on the next Church Answers podcast.